Sex expectations. Do we talk about these things enough? Are you on the same page with your partner? We're going to get into this conversation in this episode right here. Going to throw some stats your way. We're going to give you some questions to dialogue about afterwards here. And we're excited to dig in. Part 2 of this series, all about sex. Let's go.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Sum It Up with the Sumners. And it's Katoya and we're ready to get into round 2 of our sex series this month. So let's talk about sex. And let's talk about those sex expectations. Now, I was trying to make sex expectations a cool thing.
She was.
Damon didn't really feel it. My daughters call hand sanitizer handitizer. And I was like, that's brilliant. Why are we calling it anything else? It's handitizer. So this is sex expectations 101.
Expectations.
Let's just see if they're realistic.
Let's
see what they're about.
Make it a hashtag this week.
Sex expectations.
It might stick.
Anyway, I get that I could be, a cool mom. So it's all right. And sex expectations is one of them.
Listen, you're 34. Be you.
I know. Well, before we even get into all of that good stuff, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's always, hopefully, it's valuable. And hopefully it's leading to some good conversation.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
And hopefully this week some more good sex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a big goal this month right here for sure.
Get you some.
Go
get it.
Pause us right now. Maybe
hey, you know what? We'll talk to them later. Hey, babe, hang up.
Put us on with the Oh, goodness.
That's what we want to happen.
That's what we want to happen.
100%.
That's what we want. Let's get into it. We started off last week with a couple stats. Got another stack to start this bad boy off here. So, according to a survey by WebMD, 47% of married couples have sex less than once a week. 47% of married couples have sex less than once a week. So that's almost half are having sex less than once a week.
I talked to. That's not fair.
Heard.
I saw
Watched.
on Twitter.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with the.
So the side note, that's a comedian thing. You take that and they're now a friend.
Oh, I see.
I heard from a friend. I talked to a friend.
Oh, I see. Because I was like, yeah, I didn't.
No.
I actually just saw this.
If I hear you talking at the mall, you're now a friend in my bit.
Oh my gosh.
That's Carry On. That's Sinbad. That's Sinbad 101. You know who Sinbad is? He's a legend.
So my homeboy the other day.
Yep. That is. Anyway.
So my old friend from high school. No. I saw it on Twitter the other day. Said, I'll just y'all is not selling this marriage life too well. I ain't seeing nothing that's trying to get me on this team.
Come on.
And I don't know what the comment was or what it was, but it was this lady showing her body and all this random stuff.
Okay.
No, this was pregnancy, but it relates to marriage. But she was just saying her body was going through all these changes after pregnancy. She's just like, y'all ain't doing it.
Y'all ain't doing
Y'all ain't selling me for why this is something I want to do to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like her arm was swollen, her belly was. It was like
it's so true.
That's what happened. But that's the same thing. I feel like when I hear this statistic, right? I don't know why I think through the eyes of single people because I think we've all been single, right? We're in a relationship. We've been single, and we've thought. Man, when I get in a relationship, I'm going to. Say that. When I get in a relationship, it's going to be. But then it's going to be the reality, right? It's just, you're going to have to deal with that. So this is a sad statistic because that means your stats are low. But if it's okay for you, that's one thing. But I mean,
I would venture to say
that would be like saying, "Oh, we only have one conversation a week." Why are you not talking to your spouse more than that? Things should be hotter than this. I think when the love and the thing and that piggybacks us off of last week about good, healthy relationships.
Good, healthy relationships.
And this is a pulse, a gauge. I think of
a thermometer.
The health.
Definitely, sex. Expectations here.
Expectations.
when we're talking about health, right? You can't talk about the health of relationship without also bringing up expectations. Unmet expectations is going to lead to conflict sooner or later.
And we've already talked about that in just life, right?
In general.
The sex is not off the table for these type of same principles. I would dare say, we go back to our podcast and look at the titles and what we talked about, apply to sex, apply to sex, apply to sex. And it can all just go. It is in its own category because it's intimate and it's
adds another
and it's
layer.
Pleasurable.
Yeah.
I don't think everything else is so pleasurable.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
chores,
we got to design
budget.
Who picking up the kids? That's not pleasurable.
No.
This is this is connected to my release and my pleasure. So it's a little bit different. And your performance. And so that's always complicated too. Like, dang, this didn't happen. This is happening. So you gotta talk about the expectations so you can thrive. We talked about it last week that it takes hard work.
It does. Yeah, it does.
All right, I'm
good.
That's
good.
That was a long intro soapbox.
Hey, I respect it. I mean, sex is just very interesting. It is not white and black like the movies try to make it
Nobody
feel
says
here.
That.
Nobody says white and black.
It's black and white.
First off, this is my podcast, so we do what we want to do. We do what we want to do, and it's white and black. We doing sex expectations. We can do white and black. I digress. I upgress. And so anyway, when we talk about sex expectations here, it's important, right, that we are having those constant conversations here. You know, when we're talking about Katoya and myself, right? When we got married, right, almost 14 years ago, your expectations of... Whoa, what was that?
Can you stop telling people how long?
This might be their first time listening.
Okay, sure.
They might not know.
If you don't know, then we'll say this every episode.
You might not know. I want people to know every time.
It is something to be proud of. But
let the numbers show for itself. Y'all ain't selling it. Oh, I'm selling you, baby. We thriving 13 years in, fam. What's up? Gang, gang. Anyway, listen, a lot of hip hop this morning. So, when we first got married, right? Expectations were probably a certain way for her, for myself, and now almost 14 years later, the expectations are quite confident not the same, right? Both on drive, both on consistency. And so when we talk about that, what are your expectations for sex?
Yeah,
we're gonna get into it. We're gonna be for this month. We're gonna open up with y'all. We're gonna let y'all just pull back another layer or two and just to dive into it here, because you gotta know that you gotta talk about those expectations.
Yeah, they've changed for sure. I mean, I used to be like a little Energizer bunny.
She was number one.
Go get it.
She was in the driver's seat, y'all. She was in it. I was like, whoa, put the seatbelt on. She's like, nah, fam.
She
was running.
Transition into a key.
That's it.
A teacup.
This girl was Autobot, and now she over here just a little tea killer.
It was also in my early 20s.
Heck, both good knees. It's a good time.
Okay, first of all, I still have mag knees. Okay, I need to? No.
Do what you need to do. You do what you need to do, boy.
Anyway, I'm a little concerned about them, but anyway. They still get many jobs done. Let's just thanks. Anyway, so
expectations were different. You definitely
I was a lot different, and I don't know what, but time, life, feelings, emotions, weight, and stress, and not like physical weight. It's like the weight of life, you know, like. And I think that says a lot about who a person is. Like, there's so many different things, factors and reasons. And unfortunately, because sex generally in your life happens at the end of the day. Okay. Or if you're, feeling good and you got time, it's early morning. You have an even flexible schedule, it's midday.
Listen here, that flex schedule.
And I think when you have more opportunity to have more sex, you have more sex. But when you are waiting for after some kids go to bed and stuff, that starts getting home real from work.
You walk the dog in the rain and just long day. You have to heat up the food. And it's just like...
You had to cook the food.
Oh, my goodness.
And before somebody can even do chores, man, you over here doing the chores. Let's not. The point is, things change. And so that's why we have to rediscuss the expectations. Yes. So I think we probably had higher expectations of sex in the beginning of our marriage, for sure.
Well, I think I had a lower. What do you think it is for me now?
Like, you mean by number? Like, what is there's multiple expectations of sex.
That's a great question. That's a great point right there.
Because it's not about, Damon definitely is high on frequency.
At this moment.
Yes.
Again, the reverse drive was different back then.
Yeah.
get in the field. It was like, a whole new world. You walk in the Chronicles of Narnia, you're like, there's slides over here, mountains over here. I'm like, woo, slow down.
He used to let me say, you used to.
Go ahead.
You formerly used to wanted our romanticized too.
Yo, listen to me. Let's talk about it. We talking about expectations.
I was like, ain't nobody got time for no candles.
This
Get
is
your
real.
naked body on this bed and go.
This is 100%
real. Right.
Let's get in here. Let's talk about this.
I'm just naked.
My expectation coming in, if you don't know, right? Victoria is my only girlfriend, right? And so my view of sex and my expectations were very romanticized, which is not a bad thing.
I could do some more of that.
Sure.
I'm here for some more romance.
Sure. And so they're romanticized in the sense of it was very movie-esque because that's all I knew, right? I'm like, yo, throw the candles. I'm trying to put candles down 4 days a week, right? I'm like, 4 days a week 4 days a week with candles. Our candles burn twice and it's done after that, right? We talking about trying to put rose petals in the bubble bath and a bubble bath and a 2-1. Come on, man. Listen, you both can't fit. So the expectations were very romanticized. And here comes Katoya, 21, just and it was a learning curve.
Where'd she go?
And it was she pop up every now and again.
She pop up every now and again. Give us some credit.
She'll pop up every now and again. I'm like, oh, hello, madam.
She ready.
Well, hold on. Let me finish this assignment real quick. I gotta send But those expectations are real. When I say, do you know your partner? One, do you know your partner's expectations? But then, for us here, on a number level, where do you think I am right now in 2022?
I feel that. I used to really be like, dang. Not dang. But I was like, I used to be like, yeah, I gotta go home and I gotta be prepared to have sex. You know,
you thought that?
I felt this pressure throughout our
we're 13 years in marriage. When? For a couple years?
Yeah, years. I was like, because one time you had shared I want to have sex as often as possible. I could have sex every day. I was like, oh gosh, what kind of expectation is this? So literally, without us really knowing what days that was gonna happen on, I'd just be like, okay, gotta go home. Let's see if today's the day. But I wasn't always ready or in the mood. And like I said, over the time, I became a slower cooked kettle. You know, I don't know how to explain.
You went from an Easy Bake Oven to an Instapot?
I went from a microwave.
A toaster oven to just a boil.
It's like sometimes it's the outlet in the back. You know, it's like
you gotta hold it.
Click. It's not that bad.
It ain't that
and
bad.
I'll talk to you
a
little bit more why I feel like it can be that bad.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get into
it. And I think that's yeah. But ultimately, I did, and I was like, dang, I got to be ready every night. And it wasn't because I wanted to. It's just I was just feeling. It's when I think about just internal stress and angst, you know, I just felt like I wasn't, and sex is a release of that. So it should have been, and every time it's done is good. Shout out to this dude. But it's good all the time, you know? And not every time is the most amazing or the most romanticized, but it's good. And I feel more and more connected every time. So it's like anything else that we've always said, sex feels like, I want to get in my word. I ain't read
go to the gym.
I need to go to the gym. It just feels sometimes like the things that you want to do and you should do, but it just doesn't happen as frequently as you desire.
Yeah.
But today, I would say, you're easily I think a 3 a week is good, and anything above that is just bonus.
That's great. That's pretty accurate here. It's definitely not every day. I think I was 20,
it can
22.
be, but I don't even know. I think,
Can we watch? We're trying to finish this episode. We got to finish this season, babe. Maybe after the season, okay?
My legs hurt.
I'm finna go take a ride. I gotta hop on the Peloton. I gotta hit the Peloton tonight, babe.
It's so much busier now.
Yeah, I feel like for you right now, 3 weeks out of 4. Well, that's not true. We could talk about that another time too. What?
3 weeks out of 4.
I was thinking about 3 weeks out of 4. 1 week is gone, but actually another week. You got to know your partner. Another week is almost maybe not at all. It's a tough time.
Yeah.
So probably I think once a week is okay if you got twice a week and it was a good time, you'd be fine.
Who,
but I think
personally?
I think you're between probably 1 or 2, which would probably put you at about 5 to 6 times a month.
Yeah, I mean that's just with the regular working flow of life. Now when we on holidays and pandemic time,
we send the kids out for a weekend,
stuff like that. When it's more optimal, I'm ready because I'm ready morning, evening, day, and night. But like when I gotta
6:30,
go cook dinner, then
soccer.
And the problem is it doesn't become a priority. Soccer at 7 p.m. What in the world? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
You see what we saying?
And if you don't know this, I'm just saying these can be real challenges. And it is up to you all to figure out how to make this still work because sex is good and sex is a priority. And so, and I'm over here being content with 1 to 2, and he like, I need at least 3. And I'm like, oh snap, okay. But you know what? I got other methods for that. So as long as I hit some method, I'm winning, in my opinion.
Hilarious.
Are you satisfied, sir? Well, then we're good. And I'm okay with that too. Like, I'm really okay with being like, as long as you satisfied, I'm good. You know, like. Because
don't be listening to that, y'all. Don't be listening.
That is something. Yeah, then what do you do? Listen to it. Anyway, the point is, and I think again that goes back with sex expectations, right? Like, does that count? Your other, methods of satisfaction or whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
That what does it look like? Yeah. And to me, intimacy is what I'm reaching for more than I'm just trying to go straight to gratification, sex, penetration. Right. It's whatever. But like, I feel more connected. I'm trying to get more and more connected each time. There are times I'm literally like, I want to melt into you.
Yep.
How do we form as one?
Trying to unite.
I want to feel like that. And that's not always best because of sex, but it's just like this moment of connectedness.
Definitely. Be on the same page. Work towards being on the same page. That communication goes so far about those expectations here. Yeah. We got more coming your way. We heating up this series. We're excited about it. Quick sponsor break. We'll be back.
So I don't really love to cook as the primary cook in this family. However, what I do like is to jazz up the meals when I do cook, right? I'm looking for spices, seasonings, dry rubs, and I found a good place. It is Artisan Dry Goods made by beautiful Briny C. So a little bit of everything to spice up, jazz up your meal. It is a local store right here in Atlanta, but ready to ship out to you all over the world.
Absolutely, and they're legit. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Forbes, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Oprah's magazine. And you know Oprah only gonna promote the good stuff. All right, so check them out. Instagram, beautiful Briny C. Make your kitchen better. All right, I'm talking about real good ingredients, urban gardens, local farms, so it's good for your taste buds, good for your body. Check them out, and let's get to the episode.
Let's keep it going. It makes you think, like, at the end of the day, like Damon wrapped up, are you on the same page? Whatever that looks like. Yep. And I think we mentioned it a little bit already, either last week or this week, but it's ultimately about what is working for you all. Ooh. And it's about, like, sex is we don't check in about sex enough. Because sex changes, right? Like, on the day, on the week, like, how you feeling. Yeah. Is going to really determine, like, I'm ready to be vulnerable, butt naked, ready to go. Like, you gotta be there. Yeah.
Or is it like soup, hoodies, and 2 movies type of night?
Or is it like, this is what I'm feeling right now? Like, we just need to check in. Yeah. And I think there's a real level of consideration for your partner to be like, all right, like, I'm gonna take all this into consideration. I still got my needs, you got your needs. How we gonna work together? So, like I said, run through what those expectations are so that y'all are on the same page, so that everybody's being satisfied.
Everybody's being satisfied. That's what you want. Let's pivot for a second. We're talking expectations here. Let's go back. Let's talk about this for a second here. Where do you think sex expectations come from? Like, we're coming into this relationship here. with these conceptions, right? With these ideas, with these wants, desires. So like, where do you think off top, where do you think sex expectations usually come from in general?
Well, you just shared like yours were romanticized, came from movies.
That's it. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, or
to go play that game.
Yeah,
Brown sugar.
I think media influences our expectations, and then like also now we have. I say media, and I meant that more so by like TV in the traditional sense. Sure. But then also now we got social media with everybody commenting, and then goodness, music influences so much. And you like
music videos,
like that.
Music
videos. Tell you, me and C Breezy. I know he's not the person right now, but I be like, dang, that's what you did. Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Bedrock.
Damon, are you ready?
Wet the bed, Luda. Okay. All right. It's very true.
So you get all this like, man, I'm supposed to be doing rock star stuff every day.
Every day.
Like, first of all, listen, I am a fan of some good lazy sex, okay? Like lay it over on the side, do you, right? Like, I think, are you still satisfied?
Hilarious.
You need some stellar moments, and you need some moments that pass for a good connected
time. If that ain't life.
That's real.
If that ain't life, I'm just saying.
And that's what I'm saying. So like, the expectations, if they coming from somebody, like if I just came in on this episode and was like, ooh, when the door swang open and the rain was dripping and I was, no, just messing. But you be like, dang, they be doing it like that.
Yes, trench coat?
If I told you these rock star moments, sure. But that's not like a realistic picture of someone going every day.
Definitely not a holistic picture.
Nah.
Definitely not.
Holistic. It's fair. Now, real, get it. Do it.
All of it.
Like,
top and bottom. Yeah, for sure.
But we see so much, and I don't think anything is wrong with like tapping into some of what we see because it's a sexy. It's it keeps the fire. It's different. It's challenging. It's fun.
Yes.
But sometimes you laying over on your side, and it's late, and it's dark.
With your bonnet on, and we chilling.
With a bonnet.
TV going. Kids awake.
Not right now. Close the door.
Hilarious.
Yeah, those are real moments.
Where do sex expectations come from? I think you hit a lot of it here. Traditional books. Shout out to 50 Shades.
Books.
All the
Bridgerton.
I remember Bridgerton.
Damon, he talked to me like that every night.
I remember.
You are my everything. God dog it.
Am I? I surely am. Pull these panties down.
Drop it.
And so, but even like just friends, like just being in school, right? Think about being in middle school, high school, college. Porn. That's a definitely thing in a society where we bring so much. I think that's what it is. We bring so much to the bedroom that subconsciously, consciously, it just continues to shape and form. And so you can come in there and your partner's got that. They're shaping and they're forming too. So we both have come in over here looking just like, you know what I'm saying? Like we just leveled up and evolved from Charmander to Charizard. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, wait, what is happening in here? You want to do that now? Where you get that from? Oh, you trying to do that? Oh, wow, you got leather? We doing leather? And you just be like, whoa. And so I think when we talk about expectations, we're going to hit it like a, actually I was about to say that idiom. I don't like that idiom. What we do is we're going to talk about it consistently of communication. And so when you're bringing a lot into it here, for example, if Katoya and we both come in and she's like, you know what, Damon? All right, it's 2022. This year's the year of bondage. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me see your Instagram feed for a second here, because I don't know where that came from, right? We're going to talk about it. We might try it and dibble and dabble here, and it may not stay. All I'm saying is that with these expectations coming and forming us here, I'm ready for that. You missed that. If you didn't see what happened, it falls on YouTube. Subscribe. You got to be able to converse about it consistently here. Because it may be reasonable and it may not be reasonable.
Well, and I just cannot wait to talk about it. I don't know what episode's going to come
it's coming up.
But just so you know, we started dabbling into this docuseries, and it's Gwyneth Paltrow, and a lot of people don't love her, but it's called Sex, Love, and Goop, and I really love the idea behind it because it makes sex more unique to the person and not just sex.
Yeah.
You, me, let's go. It's like, no, I actually like it. Sex.
Yeah.
You, me, take slow. Right? Like, not let's go. You know, everybody's different. And when we see sex just like a go get it, ooh, that's fine, ooh, that look good, ooh, that's sexy. And it's not, everybody don't look at it that way. So, you know, I was laughing earlier in this episode because we were talking about something, we always talk about communicate. But it's real. But I also be like, dang, does anybody talk to their spouse as much as I talk to mine? Like, what is this? Why
we do be wondering that.
Like, dang, y'all, because we got to go through a conversation first. But I respect it, and it's who we are, and it's the culture of our relationship, but it keeps us on the same page. And so, and then we move into action. But, you know, you move into action after you understand what you're trying to communicate. Or sometimes just get right into action, and you be like, all right, follow up. What?
In hindsight.
How was that? Did it?
If this were to happen next time.
I know I just tried it this time, you know? So, you know, I just... you gotta talk about them, and you gotta understand where your expectations of sex are coming from. Like the fact that somebody says once a week, and you're like, ugh, why? Maybe that's okay. You know, like why? Yeah. You know, there's a why behind it all. So, another thing about this, your expectations of sex are they reasonable? You know, like are you trying to have sex 3, 4, 3, you know, whatever your number is. But are you trying to have it late at night, but you don't get in until midnight? Like I'm asleep. You can try to wake me up, but you can't be mad I'm not up. You know, like those are real things. The expectations of travel, health, work, kids, time.
All that plays a part.
Yeah.
Right. That was you know, when we first got married, we had different schedules. She was kind of this classic 8 to 4, and I was doing like a 2 to 11 at this facility, and that wasn't. Katoya is a person who, not always, she's definitely actually has transitioned a little bit, but like definitely at the beginning, you know, if you were sleepy, you were going to bed at 8. Like you could go to bed at 8.
I wish
right?
I still did.
And you know, and I just in general was a night owl, and then I also was not getting home till 11:30, 11:45, based off our 2 different schedules, right? And so talking about the practicality and talking about expectations, we had to have to process through that. And it wasn't the easiest for sure, right? And then that was with no kids. Then you throw in 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids for us specifically. You know what I mean? And there's just different ways you have to constantly be thinking about, does this make sense? You know? And maybe it's a season where it changes hard, right? Like pregnancy. That is something that, you know, it just really changes. That consistency is going down. The way about it's going down. The positions are coming in and out. Like, oh, we ain't did this in a long time. Bring that position back off the shelf, right? But, all right, we can't be on the tummy, you know? And so all these different things play a part where it's not going to always be the same. It's not always going to be your preferences, right? But, again, that's where that give and take comes into part because things are going to change. You're going to change. So is it reasonable now? Sure. But is it reasonable in a year and a half? Maybe not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's real. Like we said earlier, it's about, it changes. So you need to check in and make sure and to put that stuff into perspective. Now, one really big thing for any of my male listeners out
there. Get in there, talk about it.
One thing I have fully learned about my body, and this is the female body in general, and for most women, just hormonally. Woo. And like your cycle come through, you do what you do during the time of the cycle. Maybe it's short, maybe it's long, maybe you're missing 3 days, maybe you're missing a week. But the
general?
Yeah, the week before.
The week before the cycle comes.
Yeah, what's really PMS is what people generally call. There it is. That's like, and that's a real thing. Moody, bloated, emotional. It's hard to want sex during that week.
Those are scientific facts.
Yeah,
like, that's not.
You like, yeah, hey, my girl Eve, my app. Hey, you're feeling a little down. I'm like, yeah, you're right, Eve. Yeah. Thank you for my. What do I call it? Psychoscope. Mm-hmm. Not my horoscope, but thank you for telling me about the hormones in my body. So it's a real thing the week before that. And then, but the way our bodies are made when it's time to ovulate after the cycle.
After the cycle. So she just talked about the week the PMS week before.
It's the best.
And then the week after.
Pretty much the week right after, 5 days after the cycle it's the best. That's where you want to
take
captivate.
notes, fellas. Take
now,
the notes.
Here's the note to take.
Here it is.
Very high risk of pregnancy. So if you're not trying to get pregnant, you should be as careful as you
can be.
But that week right there, I'm telling you, anybody is ready, right? Any woman is ready. I'm probably any of that because it's just a natural,
physically,
like
scientifically,
chemical way our bodies work. So I'm always like, dude, this is where we make up for all lost time in the month, okay? Twice a day. This is the week. If statistically it was like, nah, that 1 week is on. It's like, okay, listen, we made up for all the lost. Let's just take your weekly numbers, put them into a monthly number, right there. And then we achieve the monthly number.
That's funny.
But there is something to know for sure about.
What about that 4th week? What about that gray week right there?
It's fine. It depends on somebody's sex drive, but that's fine. It's really just the PMS week before is iffy. And then the one
week
after is on.
And the week after.
Yeah.
Some people didn't know that. You just dropped gems.
The length of the cycle. Right. But after the cycle's up, well, then it's pretty good. Yeah.
You just dropped them gems on
just general.
Just dropped them. And maybe to some ladies, too, who didn't know about their body.
Oh, yeah. And this is not sponsorship.
Not sponsored.
Eve, the app.
Come on.
It's really good, and I've been using it for forever. It tracks all of my cycles and and you can track sex and just it's really good app. I would definitely recommend it.
Check it.
But there's multiple out there, but that's just the one I've been using for years.
For sure. Well, before we get out of here, let's talk about if we give them a few action items here that may be helpful and valuable. If there are a few questions that come to mind when you think about sex expectations here, just to continue to spark that conversation, what are a few questions maybe they should be talking about?
Yeah. I think it's like, I think it's always good to start with an emotional question. Like, in general, how does our sex make you feel? Like, is this...
How does our sex make you feel?
Yeah, like, do you feel connected? Does it just feel like a release for you? Like, what are you really what are you getting out of sex when we're in here? Because everybody's getting something. That's the benefit of it, right? You're also here to serve and give, but it's also a benefit back to both of you. And I think that gives you a good idea of what they're like, how this experience, when you have it together, what it provides to your partner.
Sure.
So I always say go emotional first, because I think that's why we want this connectedness, right? What's the one you have?
There's a couple. One comes to mind is just the frequency piece, because again, I don't know if it was this episode or the last episode, that 2 and that 11, and you might have to be somewhere but a 6 as a teen.
Yeah.
Just be out of it again. It might change, it might come and go, but just so that we can at least know. Just be honest, yo. So that's another one that comes to mind as well.
I think that's good. And then also, like, I think, like, what's the goal here? Like, and we talked briefly earlier about, like, alternatives. So if it's not just sex and penetration, what else we willing to do? And does that, like, kind of still satisfy that need of intimacy or of sex, right? And I think to get on the same page about that, like, oh yeah, you could just do this and I'm good, like, if you don't already know these things, or if you just have not had the open conversation. I mean, I think we'd be surprised how many people have not actually had this dialogue in their relationship.
For sure.
So no matter if you've been together 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 15, 20 years, if you haven't revisited this. I just heard a friend tell me that her parents, who are in their 60s, just took like a sex course. A sex class.
Like,
she did not go into detail. So I do not know what that means.
I mean,
the idea that 60-year-olds went to a sex class. I was like, that's impressive.
That's impressive in general.
I really value that they were like, let's figure out what we're finna do a little
Empty
spicier.
Empty nesters out here. Well, came out with the Kango hat. Like, bonjour.
I'm slanging it.
Got them pills in that pocket, big dog.
Maybe he don't need them. Anyway. It's beautiful. And it's stuff like that. Like, if they're reevaluating their sex
in their
60s, been married for at least
20, 30, 40
years. I mean, 40 years at least.
Right.
Like, yeah, it starts with us doing the work even in the beginning stages of our relationships and marriages. So
definitely.
Yeah, those are some good ones, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Well, one more.
Well, this is my other one.
Quality
over quantity.
And
when I think quality over quantity, I really think or time. James always like, man, I'm like, dude, we here. I'm ready to go. You still trying to go.
Oh.
Like timing.
Yeah.
It's like, but we're both here.
Yeah.
We're ready. We don't need more time. Like, it's not like you might want to discuss that. What is time? Is climaxing optional or not? Like, no, I want to make sure, and you should. Everyone should try. That should be your very goal for sex. But, like, really weighing in and leaning in on these type of topics to just verbally discuss. We always talk about how weird it is to talk about sex outside of sex sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Or especially when you're using sexy language or whatever, you're like, ooh, come here, what? Well, that's kind of odd right now. But in sex, you can do that over and over. But I know it can be awkward, but it shouldn't be because we're opening up those levels of vulnerability in our relationships.
Gotta have it, man. Gotta have it. Man, we hope this episode, this series is gonna bring valuable here. I'm having a good time for us talking about it right now.
Yeah,
it's
gonna
spring more conversations. You better know. All right, practice what you preach. But thank y'all so much, man, for listening. The conversation, the fun is happening over on Instagram. We would love for you to follow us for all the good stuff that's going down over there. Sum It Up Sumners on Instagram. That's it though. We appreciate y'all listening. Damon, Katoya, talk soon.